She ran, panting so hard, but the water god never stopped following her. Please. Please. I won't sing at the river again, said Nana as she ran. She ran into their house, and then slammed the door. But as soon as she turned, Nana was a poor young girl. She lived with her wicked auntie, Mama Favor, in a small mud house at the edge of the village. Nana had lost her parents many years ago, when she was 5. Since then, her auntie took her in, not out of love, but because she needed someone to do housework. Every day, Nana worked from morning till night. She swept the compound, fetched firewood, washed plates, cleaned the goat shed, and cooked food. But Mama Favor never said thank you. Instead, she shouted at her and called her useless. On that day, Mama Favor gave her a big clay pot and shouted, "Go to the river and fetch water, and don't come back late, you lazy girl." Nana quietly picked up the pot. Her stomach was empty, she hadn't eaten all day. Her feet were sore from walking earlier in the morning. But she had no choice. She walked slowly toward the river path, wiping sweat from her face with the edge of her torn wrapper. As she walked, she began to sing softly, "Oh, river, take my sorrow, wash it far away. Oh sky, hide my pain, don't let them see my tears." It was a song she made up herself. Whenever she was sad or tired, Nana sang. Her voice was soft and sweet, like the sound of a flute in the evening breeze. She reached the river and dropped her pot beside a big, flat stone. The river was peaceful and calm. The sun was shining, and the trees danced gently in the wind. She sat on the stone and continued singing. She closed her eyes and let her voice rise with the wind. Her words flowed like the river. She sang her pain, her dreams, and her wish to be loved. But suddenly, the river began to shake. The water bubbled and swirled in the middle as if something huge was coming out. Nana stopped singing and opened her eyes. What she saw made her freeze. A man was rising from the center of the river. Not just a man, he was tall and shining. He wore a long, white robe that looked like it was made of light.
His hair was long and silver, flowing down to his waist. His eyes were sharp and full of fire. His face was strong, but very angry. Nana gasped. She tried to run, but her legs refused to move. It felt like her feet were glued to the ground. "How dare you disturb me every day with your voice?"
the man shouted. His voice was deep and loud, like thunder rolling through the hills. The trees shook. The river splashed. Nana fell to her knees, trembling. "Please, don't kill me," she cried, her voice shaking. She looked behind her, hoping someone was nearby, but the path was empty. No one else was at the river, just her and the angry spirit in front of her. "I didn't mean to disturb you," she sobbed. "I was only singing because I'm sad, please forgive me." The river god stared at her in silence. His long hair blew in the wind. Then, slowly, he disappeared, just like that. The water swallowed him, and the river became calm again. Nana sat there in shock. Her whole body was shaking. Her face was wet with tears. Her heart was beating fast. She jumped up and ran as fast as she could, forgetting her water pot by the riverbank. When she reached the compound, Mama Favor was standing by the door with a long cane. "Where's the water?" she asked. "Auntie, I saw someone in the river. He came out of the water. He was angry." Before she could finish, whack. The cane landed on her back. Whack. Whack. Mama Favor beat her with anger. "You think you can fool me with your lies," she shouted. "So you left my pot at the river. Who will buy me another one? Go back there now and bring it." Nana cried and begged, but her auntie pushed her out. "If you don't come back with that pot, don't enter this house again tonight." Nana held her waist and walked away, still crying. The sun was already going down. The sky was turning orange. Birds were flying home, people were lighting their lamps. Nana walked quickly but slowly. She didn't want to go back to that river. When she reached the path that led to the river, she paused. Her body started to shake again. Her heart said, "Go back home. Maybe Auntie will forgive you." But her mind said, "If you go home without that pot, she will kill you." She stood there for some time, looking around. Maybe someone else would come so she could follow, but no one came. The path was empty. She sat under a tree and waited. 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed, still no one. It was now past 9 p.m. The moon had come out. It was full and bright. The wind was cold. Nana rubbed her arms. "I can't sleep outside," she said. "I must get that pot." So she stood up and began to walk again, slowly. As she reached the riverbank, she stopped. The river was still and shiny. The moonlight made it look like silver. She looked around. Her pot was not there. "Where is it?" she whispered, stepping forward. She searched the grass, the sand, the rocks, but it was gone. Suddenly fear grabbed her heart. What if the waterman took it? What if he was angry again? Nana fell to her knees and began to cry louder this time. "Please, I just want my pot. Please don't hurt me again," she shouted into the air. The river didn't move. But then, a small sound, a ripple, a voice. Very quiet, but very close. "You came back." Nana froze. Her eyes widened. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. She was still frozen on the spot. Her legs shook, her eyes were wide, her mouth hung open in fear. That voice again. "You came back," the river god had said. And before Nana could move, the water began to stir once more. Slowly he rose from the center of the river, taller and angrier than before. His long silver hair flew in the wind, and his white robe shone under the moonlight. His eyes burned like fire, and his face was full of rage. "Oh!" Nana screamed and fell backward into the sand. She didn't wait. She got up, picked up her wrapper, and ran. She didn't care about the water pot anymore. She didn't care about the cold. She didn't even care that her bare feet were bleeding from sharp stones on the path. She just ran. Behind her, the river god stepped out of the water. His feet touched the ground, but he made no sound. He walked calmly, yet the trees swayed, the wind blew strongly, and the night became colder. His presence made the air heavy. Far ahead, Nana stopped for a moment and looked back. Her chest rose and fell. She was breathing fast. Sweat poured from her face even in the cold night. And then, she saw him, the river god. He was walking towards her, far behind but clearly coming. Her mouth opened in shock. She couldn't believe her eyes. She shook her head, blinked again, he was still there. Her jaw dropped. She didn't wait again. She screamed and took off running until she got home. She reached the compound and banged the wooden door open, ran inside, and locked it quickly behind her, shaking like a leaf. "Who is chasing you?" her auntie shouted angrily, rushing into the room with her cane. "And where is the water I sent you to fetch? Where is my water pot?" Nana tried to speak. She pointed outside with her trembling hand. She opened her mouth, trying to say, "He's coming," but no sound came out. She blinked. She opened her mouth again. Still, no voice. She raised her hands to her throat, pressing her neck, trying to force the words out. Nothing. She tried to hear her auntie's voice, but she couldn't hear anything. It was like the world had gone silent. She was now completely deaf and dumb. Nana opened her mouth again. Nothing. She pressed her ears, no sound. She waved her arms wildly, crying. Her lips moved, but no words came. She pointed outside, crying harder. She fell on her knees, holding her neck, hitting her chest, trying to shout, but all she heard was silence. Her aunt and her 2 daughters stood staring at her, confused. Then, they suddenly burst into laughter. You lost your voice and ears because of one pot. Mama Feva laughed, clapping her hands. So now, you're acting like a mad girl because you sold my pot. Look at you pointing like a monkey. Her daughters laughed loudly, too. They held their stomachs and rolled on the ground, laughing at poor Nana, who was still trying to speak. Nana was still kneeling and crying when Mama Feva shook her head and picked up her kerosene lamp. Let me go and see this game you're playing, she hissed, pointing outside like a mad person. She opened the door and stepped outside, holding the lamp high. She looked left. She looked right. She walked a few steps forward. Nothing, no river god, no shadow, no sound. She turned back and entered the house. Idiot girl. You want to use madness to escape my pot. Mama Feva shouted. She pulled Nana up roughly and pushed her toward the door. Go back to that river now. If you like, die there. You will not sleep in my house tonight. No food, no bed. Bring my pot. Bang! She slammed the door shut and locked it from inside. Nana stood
outside, shocked and broken. She banged on the door. Please, she tried to say, but no words came. Her fist hit the door again and again, but she couldn't hear the sound of her own knock. She turned and looked down the road leading to the river. It was dark, still, quiet, but she had no choice. Her heart pounding, her knees weak, she began to walk slowly back toward the river. She looked behind her, and then, she froze. Standing there, under the moonlight, was the river god. He hadn't disappeared, he was still following her. Nana dropped to her knees again. Her eyes were full of tears. She opened her mouth to plead again, but nothing came. She tried to cry loudly, but her voice was gone. She looked up at him like a child begging for mercy. The river god didn't speak. He just raised his hand and made a simple gesture. He signaled her to get up. Nana wiped her tears and stood slowly. She was trembling, but she obeyed. He signaled again, keep walking. So Nana walked. Step by step, her legs shaking, her heart jumping, her tears falling. But the river god stopped suddenly and turned his head toward Mama Feva's house. He looked at it for a long moment, and then something strange happened. The sky above Mama Feva's house turned black. Clouds gathered quickly, only over the house. Then, it began to rain heavily, but only on Mama Feva's roof. Thunder cracked in the sky. The wind began to blow, a very strong wind. Nana's auntie and her daughters were inside when they heard the roof creaking. ZZZ dash. Suddenly, the wind blew the roof off. Boom! The roof flew into the air and crashed outside the compound. Rain poured into the house, soaking everything, mats, clothes, food. They screamed and ran from room to room, but no place was dry. The strange part was the houses around them were still dry. The rain was only on their own roof. Inside the house, Mama Feva shouted, "What kind of nonsense is this?" She ran to the door, but the wind slammed it shut again. They were trapped inside the rain. Back on the road, Nana did not even know what was happening behind her. She just kept walking toward the river, crying silently. The river god walked behind her slowly. The wind blew gently through the trees. The path was now glowing faintly with the moonlight. Nana didn't know exactly where she was going. She didn't know what would happen next, but something told her nothing would ever be the same again. Nana reached the river, still trembling in fear. Her bare feet touched the cold earth. Her hands were shaking, her heart beat loudly in her chest. And then, she saw it, her water pot. It was sitting by the rock, just where she had left it. Her eyes widened. She gasped and quickly ran to pick it up. She grabbed the pot and dropped to her knees. But then, something strange happened. Nana opened her mouth to speak, and this time, the words came out clearly. "Please let me go," she cried, her eyes full of tears. "I can talk," she screamed in surprise. "I can talk again." Her voice echoed around the riverbank. She touched her throat, then her ears. She could hear the wind, the river, and the sound of leaves moving. Everything had returned. The river god stood a few steps away, still calm and glowing. His long hair flowed gently in the night breeze. He looked at her with peaceful eyes this time. "The Creator has asked me to bless you, Nana," he said. Nana looked at him, confused. "Bless me," she whispered. "Why?" The river god smiled faintly. "Your heart is pure, your pain has reached the heavens." He lifted his hand to his neck and removed the golden necklace he always wore. It was shining brighter than the moon. Then, he stretched his hand toward her. "Open your palms." Nana obeyed, still kneeling. He placed the gold necklace gently in her hands. "I bless you with this," he said, "but hear me, Nana, if you value your life, never return to your aunt's house. You may not live to tell your story if you do." Nana's eyes widened. She looked down at the gold in her palms and then back at him. "Why?" she asked. "What do you mean? What will happen if I—" Before she could finish her question, he disappeared again. Just like before, he vanished into the river without a splash. The water became calm and silent. Nana stood there, shaking, confused and afraid. She looked left. She looked right. The wind blew quietly around her. She didn't know what to do, but she held the pot in one hand and the golden necklace in the other and ran home as fast as she could. When she got to the house, she froze again. The roof of the house was gone. Pieces of it were lying all over the compound. The ground was soaked with water, and inside the house, everything was wet. She walked slowly toward the entrance, holding her pot tightly. Her auntie stood in the middle of the compound with her daughters, all drenched and shaking. When Mama Favor saw her, she screamed, "Go away. You did this. You brought this curse into my house." Nana fell to her knees again. "Auntie, I swear, I didn't do anything," she cried. "I don't know what happened, I'm sorry." Whack! Something hit her. From behind, she fell to the ground and turned her head. Her cousin's sister stood behind her, holding a thick stick, breathing fast and looking angry. "Which evil girl?" the cousin shouted. "You're the reason we are suffering. Leave this house." Nana held her head, crying. Then she remembered what the river god had said, "If you value your life, never return to your aunt's house. You may not live to tell the story." That was when she knew she had to leave. She stood up, holding her head in pain, and ran away. This time, she ran into the bush behind the village, not knowing where she was going. She ran and ran until she could no longer feel her legs. Then everything became dark, and Nana collapsed. The next morning, sunlight touched her face. She slowly opened her eyes and gasped. She was lying on a mat in a small hut made of wood and grass. The smell of herbs and smoke filled the air. She sat up, confused and weak. Then, she saw an old man sitting on a low stool beside her, watching her quietly. "You're awake," the man said softly. Where am I?" Nana asked. "You're in my home," the old man replied. "I am a traveler. I was coming from a journey last night when I saw you lying in the bush, weak and bleeding. That place is 6 villages away from here. I couldn't leave you there, so I carried you all the way to my house." Nana was shocked. 6 villages, she whispered. "How did you carry me here?" The man smiled. "Some journeys are led by spirits, not by feet." She didn't understand, but she nodded. "Thank you, Papa," she said. "Thank you for saving me." The man stood up and brought a small wooden box from the corner of the hut. "I found this beside you," he said, handing it to her. It looked important. Nana stared at the box, confused. "I don't own a box," she said quietly, but something told her to open it. She slowly opened the lid and gasped. The box was full of gold necklaces, exactly like the one the river god gave her. There were dozens of them, shining, glowing, powerful. The old man looked at her carefully. "Why are you surprised?" he asked. Nana blinked and quickly replied, I'm surprised it's still intact." "Thank you, sir." The man nodded and smiled again. He had seen signs like this before. This girl was not ordinary. From that day, Nana began a new life. She used some of the gold to start trading in the new village. She sold gold, bought land, built houses, and helped the poor. Her name became known far and wide. People came from many villages to see her, to receive help, to hear her story, but she never told anyone about the river god. She kept it as a secret. In her heart, she knew it was a gift from above, a reward for all her pain. Meanwhile, in her old village, Mama Favor and her daughters were suffering. Their house had no roof. Their crops failed. No one helped them. They lived in hunger and shame. They heard that Nana had become a wealthy woman. They wanted to go and ask for help, but they couldn't. The guilt, the shame, and the fear of rejection kept them away. They stayed in poverty, while Nana became a light to many. When people reject and mistreat you, don't give up. Keep your heart pure. Your pain may one day become your power. The same people who laughed at you will watch your name rise. Just be patient and never lose hope.